My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief,
And I'm Bell.
And I'm Butta. What's good, y'all?
What's
and
up?
Prentice is handling some business right now, so he couldn't join us tonight. He may hop in a little later, but just in case, it's just us right now. Nevertheless, fellas, what it is, what it was, what it does, cuz. Good to see y'all faces.
Good to see
So,
you, man.
Likewise.
let's jump into it. Chief, check in. All right, I will. So, fellas, I'm in that if it ain't one thing phase right now. If it ain't one thing, it's another, man. And it has been consistent for like a good 2 weeks now. But I'm still rolling with the punches. I ain't letting it get the best of me. It's literally been one thing after another. I had a little health scare. My car shit the bed. I come home yesterday. It's 3 inches of water in my basement. It's if it ain't one thing, it's another. And I'm just like, you know what? I can shout out to my man right there. I can't lose. I can't lose. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my mentality. Like, it's putting a wrinkle in my plans financially because I've been doing the right thing, and then I had to dip into some and get the car fixed. Then I got to get this bunch of stuff cleaned up in the basement. But it is what it is, man. I can't lose. I'm not really tripping about it. I just got to keep the ball rolling. I've had a couple gigs lately that were just really good time. Did some good networking. Got some potential things lined up. Pen is going crazy lately, but a matter of fact, well, about to. Like, I know you be ghostwriting, so I gotta, you know what I mean. But I got some new stuff that I was just
We
sitting, something hit me, and
we got some new stuff.
I like this one. This one gonna be good. Like, you when the ones when you got one of them ones, butter. This one of them ones. So I feel good about it. I run that by y'all when we shut down this one. But other than that, man, all is well, all is good. Go ahead. What you got for us? Check in, B. I'm about to highlight you right now. Though. Go ahead. Bang.
Um, well, I didn't record last week, so I feel like anytime I go a week without recording, it'd be like a bunch of things. But it's not a bunch of things. But just to go back to your check-in, it's crazy. I was looking for something, and I was looking something from an email I got in like 2004 or five. But for whatever reason or another, Hotmail don't go back that far. But anyway, in my attempts to look for this email, I came across my W-2 from 2008, and it's crazy because I have found it when I wasn't looking for it at all, nothing like that, but it made me think of you right now. Like, again, I had no intention of bringing that W-2 up until you started talking about your challenges, and obviously we spoke earlier about the challenges and all of that. So it's two instances that were pivotal in. I'm just commenting on your check-in. I'll get to my check-in in a second. But it was two instances that were pivotal in my life that I didn't really have. Well, I had a plan, and I did some things to put myself in a okay position. But I mentioned the your check-in because when I left the high school in September 2008, everybody told me I was crazy, right? Like, it's like, man, why would you leave such a good job? Yada 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 yada. All the stuff. I looked at that damn W-2, bro. That W-2 said like $35,000 or something like that, and I'm like, yeah, it was a good job for me, but doesn't mean it was the best job or there weren't other opportunities. But I mentioned that was one moment where I left. The other moment was I was doing side jobs, making a really good amount of money, and I decided to focus on my career and no longer do any like side hustles or anything like that. And the day I decided to do that, or the day after I decided to do that, I totaled my car. And then when I got my car home and I called the insurance company, They were like, "Yeah, your insurance lapsed a month ago," and I'm like, "You got to be shitting me." And when that happened to me, I was like, "This is a test." You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a test. This is a test if I'm gonna pick up and where I left off with my side hustles. When things got hard, when I left the high school in September 2008, it was a test. Like, all right, well, things are hard. You can go get your job back if you want it. And what are you going to do? So I say all that to say that this is a test. What you're experiencing is a test. You said yourself that you're moving in the right direction now. You got some alignment on what you're trying to get accomplished. And what just happened to you is nothing short of a test. It's like, how far are you going to derail from that plan? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to stick to the script? Because it's designed for you to be derailed, but the dedication to the plan will be unveiled during this time. So, speaking from experience, I'm telling you, this is a test. But and I want to see you continue on that path that you've been moving forward on as of this year. So, but for my check-in, I'm good. I just got back from Mexico. Me and the wife was out there for about 5 days, something like that. It was nice. It was a good time. It was relaxing. I was relaxing. Ate well every day. Saw a lot of people who I hadn't seen in a long time, which was good. So caught up with some folks. Um, yeah, and back to it. Shot before I end my checking on. Shout out my cousin Irvin for coming through for me always. Appreciate you. But that's my check-in. Everything good.
LT, what's up? Maybe talk to us.
Yeah, first of all, I would appreciate if you both would mind y'all business. January has been the longest year of my life.
Crazy.
It's been a long ass year. Um, and it's so funny. I feel like when we had that conversation about finances and stuff like that, I was good. I'm an independent contractor and got the 1-2 punch and was like, oh, so I'm immensely grateful for that. But life is absolutely life in. But I'm also the co-creator of what life is lifing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just clear that I get to make different choices. And to your point, this is only a test. Um, I would say pivot now, Chief. So you're not trying to figure it out at 55,
Mm.
right? Pivot now so that you aren't figuring out stuff you wish somebody would have taught you, but you have to pay attention to the teachers around you, and I hold you all as that. So yeah, so I'm a great student in that way. Um, yeah, so I got stuff I get to clean up this year, and my word for the year is integrity. So I find even when I'm being out of integrity in the slightest, I have to correct it. Like I can't. It's like in my system in a totally different way. Um, I had an experience where I was talking to somebody had called me for some support. They were going through a breakup, and I was so impacted by the breakup, I felt like I was breaking up. Um, it was really painful. It was painful to hear a brother who is loving somebody and having to say to them, you also have to be accountable for what you share. But it was something in his hurt that I was like, where else could he have gone to cry? Like, who else could he have called to cry? Grateful that he shared that moment with me. But there was a part of me that was devastated. I wanted the relationship to work. I was invested on some level. But he and this young lady had to part ways, but he had to get the truth, and it could only come from her. And when she shared it, it pierced him. I was hoping for a different conversation, but kind of understanding that she's been clear the whole time. And so it's his opportunity to look at it from a different lens also. So I'm good and getting better. And there's nothing to complain about because if life can change on a dime, life can change on a dime.
I want to before we carry on, I kind of want to tap in on that, man, because that's a you asked the question, where else could he go to cry? And in typical dude fashion, we gonna sit here and say we okay. Oh, it's just a breakup. It hurt a little bit, but I'll be all right. I'll be all right. We mask that hurt with the homies and be internally struggling. Them breakups be kicking our ass, and we fake the funk around our people. But where can we go, fellas? We've all gone through the breakup, and the typical unhealed man will go. When you the only way to get over the next is get on the or get over the X is get on the neck or something, get under the neck or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like we'll jump off to the next one and never really take that time to heal. So it's a little it's high key discouraging in a sense where we know, unfortunately, we ultimately don't have anywhere to go outside of ourselves. Who can we go cry to? Who can we go vent to and be like, yo, your boy is struggling right now, man. I miss Shorty like crazy, or I'm hurting.
Yeah. It was, I mean, it was super tough, but I think as I'm listening to you now, I understand why it hurt me so much because I'm going through a financial breakup. I want money, but it told me it didn't want me. And I was like, oh, but I need you. I miss you. I love you. And money is like, you treated me wrong when you had me.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, that's what this felt like. It was so, and so for me, and I mean, I feel like everybody needs all Black men need therapy because I got delivered in some spaces just doing conversations.
Mm.
Because when you're in the front of the room, without meaning to, you're always in front of the room. For me, so I can't imagine. There are people who I can talk to. I can call y'all if I really want to like talk to somebody. But I think there was a time when I thought, well, I'm this age, I should be here, or nobody will understand, or people hold me this way so I can't bend or break. I have to be strong for other people. And once I let that go, I've had to remix even how I isolate. Right? Like, am I incubating or am I isolating? Right? Because this incubation will have me in the lab like I am right now, because I got some pieces I want to share with y'all. But in that same regard, there was a time when I couldn't access any of my power without giving money power first. And I've never been in a situation where I went to the bank and had money tell me what to do. Right. And so I found myself spending money the way I was making money with that second job, as Chris was talking about. And when I didn't pick up that second gig, I turned down a job in December. But I was shopping like I had 3. Nigga.
Hey, I want to say a couple of things to everything that was just said. To answer your original question, Chief, which was where do we go? Um, and who can we go to? A couple of things I'll say. One, I feel like at least the men I interact with, they have somewhere to go when they're not feeling like their true selves. The question is, well, are they willing to go? Right? That's one. Two is, I mean, our podcast exists for a reason, right? All Black Men Need Therapy. I feel that if we all regularly went to therapy, we would be able to answer that question much easier. Because I say that because there's been all kinds of conversations I've had with my therapist: money conversations, relationship conversations, emotional conversations, childhood conversations. So I say that to say, when you find a good one, there's nothing that's off limits. You know what I'm saying? Where but that takes courage. So let me just be very clear. It's not like, yeah, just go to a therapist. I understand it's not that simple for everyone. All right. Well, i.e. Prentice Powell, right? Like we've had this podcast for 6 years, and he still has yet to commit to going to therapy, which he doesn't have to. But I'm just saying there is an outlet, whether we want to exercise it or not. And the other thing is, I don't know that we even know how to grieve when it comes to relationships not working out. I feel like death is very hard, but we're all dealing with it at the same time, right? If there's a loved one that passed, everyone's dealing with that. So if you're super emotional, everyone's super emotional. When you're dealing with a isolated situation, as in a relationship, there's no one else grieving with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know that I should go over there because they're not going to understand is a common conversation, right? So I want to say that we all have, by default, there's at least one person for you to speak to if you go to a therapist. Whether you're there or not is the question. And then the people who are loved and have a village around them, I'm positive those people would want to hear from them. It's just a matter if the individual is ready to have that conversation with them. So that's how I feel. That's my take, Chief, on your question / comment.
So hypothetically, first of all, you make a great point because, well, I don't know, Bell. Honestly, I don't know if many men have a place they're comfortable going. Because there may be a friend or two who they can talk to, but like dudes, one struggle with just being vulnerable, especially in moments of grief and hurt. Hypothetically, well, we're different, so I can't even do that. But like outside of our immediates, specifically as it pertains to breakup, is there someone that can you can think of right now that would lean on you for that support?
Would lean on me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had people lean on me. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna mention their names, but you know one very well. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, people have. I mean, people. Well, this one person in particular, which I love him for this. He's not a person where you gotta like go through a bunch of questions to figure out what's going on with him. Like, he gonna call you and y'all gonna talk about what's going on, whether you got time or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just he when it comes to that, and me, it's not like he's like this with everybody, but like with me, with us, he he gonna he gonna let go, and he gonna tell you what happened. He gonna tell you like how it impacted him, and he gonna say he don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna talk. But that's one person that I can think of that definitely does that. And people call me, and another person I can think of that you may or may not know that will has also I've also had conversations around relationships with them. But it's also too because people ask my opinion because me and Lo been together 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So, or people feel like I can relate to some of the things they're going through because of how long I've been in a relationship. So that's the other piece. But I still stand, and there's plenty of people who have at least one option, like I said, in the therapist. But you make a good point, where it's like if you haven't built that bridge, then you may not feel comfortable. But just because you don't feel comfortable doesn't mean it's not a place for you to go. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that answered your question. I think I did.
No, yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking right now because I think just the nature of who we are offers lends that space for communication around that. But I just don't feel like a lot of dudes who aren't as emotionally balanced would even take that time to reach out and be like, "Yo, I'm hurting." They would just knuckle up, try to push
Yeah.
through, being a home crying and taking lashing out on people.
Nah, they'll do it a different way. Like my bat signal is I need to feel some love. That's my bat signal. So if I send that to the group, it don't matter what I'm going through. They know I'm going through something. and they're gonna wrap their arms around me, get me out, whatever the case. So I don't want to paint with a broad brush by saying, you know, men not doing it doesn't make them, and not that you said this, but in tune with themselves or emotionally capable. I don't want to say that because we all deal with it different ways. Like somebody dealing with a breakup may not be them calling one of you or one of us saying, I'm hurting. You know what I'm saying? It may be like, man, what you doing tonight? Let's go grab a drink. Let's go get some wings. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the strip club. Like that's what it could look like. And then maybe through conversation or whatever, they it comes out. But the actions, my point is, the actions don't always look the same. The verbiage isn't always the same. It doesn't mean that they're not getting what they need from you in that moment.
What about you, LT? Have there been moments in your world where well you've sought out that support in the middle of the breakup?
Yeah. You were actually with me with one of them. I was actually in New Britain going through a breakup. And I don't know if I would have said anything had you not been a credible witness. I think I would have dusted off as another one bites the dust. And I would have just kept it moving. I would have bought another pair of shoes. I'd have taken a trip somewhere. I'd have been a FU watch this, right? I also I don't want to miss what Bill said even about grief, because I think we get so attached to grief being attached to death that we don't even realize that we go through a romantic grief as well, and we go through those stages of grief. And I had the blessing of having you be there for some of that stage, right? Like the anger, the disappointment, like all of those things stirred up. And then having that person circle back years later, like, you were the one. No, I wasn't. Because if I was the one, you'd have still been stuck in New Britain. You wouldn't have moved on. You wouldn't be in this palatial house. You wouldn't have the things that you have. So, number one, thank you for letting me know you go back to your exes, which is what I thought you were doing anyway. But number two, I get to be clear that you don't have to circle the block with me. Keep going. You're doing a good job. Right? Like I had to get clear about that. But that grieving part, the grief of the breakup was the hardest part, because you break up with inanimate objects. Right? Like I couldn't go to Dykeman anymore to get my bodegas because the person lived around, to get my tamales because the person lived around the corner. Then on top of that, they were Puerto Rican, so I broke up with Puerto Ricans. Right? And then they lived on the F line. I wouldn't take the F train for a little while. Like it was that you start breaking up with stuff. And then the breakup is a community project, believe it or not. Because you got those people that were like, oh, if y'all ain't gonna make it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And that can be very insensitive. And then you got the other folks like myself who are like, yeah, I'm sorry you hurt, but you don't get to be the victim and the volunteer. You also did this, 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 and this. Like nobody broke up with you. Y'all participated in the breakup. So own your part and let's move on. And if you need to cry, call me to cry. If you need to hurt, call me to hurt, because I'm good to do not disturb people. But for this person, I was so heartbroken for them. I was just like, listen. But it's tough, man. It's tough. And you do. And then you got people, I say, if you're going to be with the people when they're all posted up and look at them, be with them during the breakup too. But that was the other thing, Bill, you and she talked about, it's a level of accountability, even when you mentioned Prentice. And I hope you can come on so we can celebrate you. But like what happened, you're still holding him accountable for getting therapy, as opposed to someone going, you'll figure it out. Like you're very intentional about your support. And I don't think everybody has that either.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about, hey, you can come talk to me. I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna call you on your stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't say I want healing sitting in the waiting room, but you won't go see the doctor. That makes no sense. How you gonna be at the hospital and not get help? You're at
Mm-hmm.
the best place. You're at the best place for your healing, but you won't go. And I think that's kind of the way it is with relationships. Sometimes you have people around you that only want to see you wake up tomorrow. And so they're invested in your healing in a particular way. And so I think that's absolutely the other piece. But for me, I've been blessed to have people catch me at the right time. And I've had people be really, even when my mom died, say to me, well, I don't engage grief like that. It's my mama. Like, come on. And so I end up breaking up with that person.
And that's actually a valid point, Butter, because the assumption could be break up as a intimate relationship, you know what I'm saying, or a physical relationship, but a breakup can be a friendship, you know what I'm saying, because
Yes.
you no longer are seeing eye to eye for one reason or another, and that is, I would offer that when there's a friendship that's estrayed, or or separated for one reason or another, I would offer that we do not put enough stake into those emotions. Like, especially if it's a situation. I mean, I wasn't on the last episode, but Chief, you spoke about a family issue with, which sounds like they're at an impasse where they're not as they once were. So for all intents and purposes, they're broken up. And I feel like that those relationships are ones that are easily mentally dismissed, though there's a lot of undercurrents going on that we're not addressing because we don't hold them in the same regard as a partner in our relationship. You know what I'm saying? As a friendship. But it's like some of these friendships, I would argue most friendships have lasted longer than a lot of your relationships. You know what I'm saying? And then we not even going to spend the time to deal with what that has done to us. You know what I mean? But we've been with somebody for a year and then we losing our shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts on
Yeah, I
that.
wanted to double back on that simultaneous grief with relationship and loss of life, because in reading and after losing my brother, I said this before in a couple episodes, but like for those of you who are listening now, like that, in reading and learning how to process and deal with grief, the book equated divorce and breakup to loss, like to losing someone to death. And I had never correlated the two, but it's still a loss and an ultimate loss, and a sincere and severe loss. And that grief can still be the exact same. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was just powerful to read that, and then to when you go through the stages of grief and you can identify with the stage, it was therapeutically healing for me just to be like, oh, someone somewhere who I have no clue knows exactly how I'm feeling and can point it out for me. So when I learned I was in the anger stage or depression, I learned I was in the depression stage. And but having read through it all, I was like, wow, I remember the anger phase. Like you get this rage. It's not even an anger, it's like a rage that consumes your entire body. It was a rage, it was an anger I've never felt before. But it was like
Mm.
it was through my whole body. But when I got over that, I didn't know what I was experiencing. But then when I read it, I caught the 5 stages of grief in the depression stage, and I was like, oh, that's where I'm at. Like everything makes sense now because I went through the other stages prior to it. I'm like, okay, this is exactly where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? So for those of you who may be going through something, just to read through the grief cycle may be something that genuinely helps you just steer yourself in a better direction, because you can kind of see where you're at and hope for the best coming forward.
Yeah, and what we're talking about mostly is what's called disenfranchised grief. The term applies to like when society may not even recognize the ending of a relationship as a significant loss. And so sometimes it might leave us feeling unsupported, which is a disenfranchised grief. I think that's to both of you all's point around friendships. That's the piece that I find interesting. As we were talking, the one question comes up for me: when was the last time you told somebody they hurt your feelings?
You know, it's interesting. To answer your question, I have no idea, But I think we don't say that, or I don't say that as much as I could. But I think my actions will essentially my reactions and actions there going forward will, in my mind, will tell them that they hurt my feelings, but it does not telling them shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't say anything, and I'm just doing things differently. But no, I don't. I have no idea unless time I told somebody they hurt my feelings. What about you, Chief?
I might have expressed that to Bubba not too long ago. She was just being a typical attitudinal teenager, but it was a response thing to something very, very simple. And it's just like, I think I had gone through like an entire day of just like doctor's appointments and getting new cleats and whatever. It was a bunch of stuff that we had lined just to do it. And then I asked her something that she like low key snapped on me, and it was like rude. And I'm just like, it might have been in the middle of all that fluff with, what I'm saying, too. And I'm just like, do you think I deserve that? Like that wasn't like that. The way I think it was in public. She might have did something like that had people looking at her like she don't respect me in public or something like that. But it was like hurtful. And I remember being like, oh, that hurt my feelings. And she caught herself and saw it and she apologized. But it was one of them, I can't remember what it was, but I remember being like, damn, that kind of sucked. And I didn't make a scene in the moment or whatever. It's kind of bit the bullet. And we got home, we had a conversation about it. But that was the last time. It was in the past like 2 months maybe that I had to put that on.
Yeah, I didn't think about. I feel like for me, I'll speak for myself. Yeah, I've definitely said that to Brianna before. I've even said it to Chase before, but to another adult, I don't know the last time. Do you have any recollection with adults, Chief?
Not that I can. I did. I did.
I have a question, but answer.
I did. I had a conversation with my you both will know when I say this, my auntie Neek's daughter.
Okay, that's a lot of people.
You know what I'm talking about, though, Butta?
Yep.
Okay, so it was a situation where I think I had like, it was over some bread or something, and she was like, I'll holler at you on this day, and I was like, all right, cool. The day came, nothing happened, no call, no show, whatever. Not tripping. Text her, no response. Week, 2 month go by, text her again, no response. Then I seen her, and I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you, like, I'm not tripping about that, but why not just communicate with me? And then for you to ignore my calls and not respond to me, like, that hurt my feelings. Like, this ain't how we operate. It's not how we get down. You know what I'm saying? Like, just tell me, I'm not tripping about it. Like, I would have probably told you to keep it anyway, but like, don't do me like that. After all we've been through and how we get down, like, why would you do me like that? And it was a span for maybe like I had spent like, say, a month just trying to get in contact to see what was up, making sure she was okay. And then 4 months go by, and then we happen to cross paths. And I'm like, that like hurt my feelings.
Here's a question. You ever say that to your dad?
Who are you talking to?
You. Have you ever told your dad he hurt your feelings?
Who didn't see that coming?
No.
Oh, all right. I'm just asking.
Nigga, I talked to him one time in my life.
Yeah, but it was for like 3 hours, and I'm asking if you said that during that conversation.
No, because I got, again, we processed through this, and I got what I got in that moment and shut down.
Much like now.
for that
And so, yeah,
for that moment, it was more about letting him get his shit off and trying to develop an understanding. But again, after he said what he said, I think I just kind of shut down.
what about that question? Because you did something, like energetically, you did something. What happened with that question?
Well, there's a couple things there. It felt out of left field.
Okay.
It also, like, given the context, I mean, he knows, you all know I only had one conversation with him. So I
Yeah,
feel like you knew that question to answer that question before he even asked it.
I didn't. I wasn't
Yeah.
even being condescending or funny. That was a genuine question.
Well, I mean, I hope I answered it, but yeah, it felt. I think what happens often is I find myself in this position here, ultimately being the most vulnerable. So I always somehow end up on the hot seat, and
Could
it's triggered by, it's not, I can't use the word triggered. I learned something about being triggered the other day, and it was an eye opener for me. I'm trying to find that video so I can share with you guys, but nevertheless, I think it's because that situation also hasn't been necessarily resolved yet. I'm still super sensitive around it.
Okay.
And
That I think that
I want to be like, bitch, you know I ain't fucking that say that to him, but
that's you projecting.
What?
You literally said I'm super sensitive about it, and then you said I wanted to answer like, bitch, you know the answer to that, and I said that would have been you projecting
Right.
because
But I didn't, is what I'm saying.
well, wait. That wouldn't have been him projecting. That would have been him responding to an injury.
no,
It would like though there was no ill intent. The question in and of it stung me. So I know it stung him because all I thought about was my father's not on the planet. Neither is my mom. I'll never be able to say you hurt my feelings. And then to hear you talk to Chief, I'm like, yo, Chief, do not miss the opportunity to say you hurt my feelings. Right? Don't miss it because you won't get that chance again if this dude lead a planet. And my laughter was like just a nervous reaction of, oh, Bill, that was a good question. Because it was a very good, it was an opportunity for us to really look at it from that lens. But I think often the reason why we can't say you hurt my feelings is because the people we probably need to say it to aren't available to hear the question, aren't available to even hear the statement.
So that's interesting you say that, because in all of this damn preparation that I'm doing to have that conversation with him, it's something I can't say that I prepared to say, but it's something I'm very much so comfortable saying and delivering it in a way that I believe would get him to understand it, because I now have the emotional intelligence and the dissection of our previous experience to be able to be like, listen, the last time we spoke, this is what happened. And I know you saw a 31-year-old man. You didn't see the child inside of me, so you didn't know how to treat him. You dig what I'm saying? You didn't know what he was looking for. Because in that moment, after several conversations through via the podcast, it literally come to the forefront that the child in me was looking to be restored relationship with his father. But the man that was present in that moment is what the father saw. The father addressed the man, and not without having any inkling of the boy inside.
Two things I'll say to that. I believe that child still is looking for that. That's one. Two, don't fuck, what was I about to say? Oh, and I'm not saying you are, but also be cognizant that he may not know how to heal that child still.
So I've gotten to a point now where the child in me, I can't say that, I've wanted that, but I think as far as that is concerned, I'm in a much better place. He needs to just hear about my interpretation of that experience and how long it took me to build up to this conversation, and hear the words that I forgive him, and I'm not, I'm not holding this against him, but it did hurt me. So yeah, I think it'll come out in that conversation. But I'm in such a better place now. I mean, think about it, fellas. You couldn't. It wouldn't. Even though my response a moment ago was a little shocking and triggered. I'm still in such a better place than I was before, because before I'd be like, "What the fuck, man?" You know what I'm saying? I would have. What's the word would you say it was? You didn't say lash out. You said I would have projected. Yeah, but that's just because again, not dealing with that internal shit. But I've come such a long way, such a good space as far as that is concerned. So I think I'm still, I'm still preparing and still building, but I'm in such a better place than I was before. So being able to articulate how I'm feeling with no expectation of a particular response is what I've built to now.
And what you just spoke to so eloquently was really the 5 stages of grief. You have denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Mhm.
Those 5 stages of grief, unfortunately, don't always come in that order. I think we all eventually arrive at acceptance, but I think even in this moment, Bill had to make that statement. Like, that statement had to live in order for you to even see your growth and for us to also experience it with you. And I don't think there would have been anything wrong with you saying it the way you said it, because here again, Bill does what Bill does. He's standing for his brothers, right? Like, y'all stand for each other. We may not always like each other's style of standing, but I knew the moment he asked the question, I was like, I got to answer this too, huh? Because for me, it was like, oh, I did not see that coming. Because consider this, how you're engaging the grieving of the relationship as it is. Like, to me, it's almost like Alzheimer's or dementia. Your parent is there, the version that you remembered, but then you got to be with this new version. And it immediately made me think of that. Like, oh, so there's a grief that also occurs when there's an anticipation of some sort. And so you may be anticipating even like your response, his response. But I like what you said, whether he agrees or goes or not, you're like, yeah, okay. That's not where you are. Like, it's called anticipatory grief, where it's almost like you're anticipating a loss before it even occurs of a loved one.
Well, I think I don't know if that loss has been anticipated, but I think the grief in this case was the absence.
Yeah.
It was never really attained. You dig what I'm saying? So I had to grieve the absence, and then now I'm moving towards the reconciliation part. But I do feel good in a sense of just being self-aware enough to go, even though you were just gut punched, your response to it wasn't what it would have been for me. Like I saw that in myself just now, and I'm like, okay, you moving in a better direction. It may again, it ain't. I'm not all the way there, but like to be able to be like, bitch.
So can I make a request?
Certainly.
As opposed to better, because I don't want you to judge where you've come from. How about different response? Because I think in the moment that you responded the way you did before was all you had access to. Once you opened yourself up to learn, heal, grow, and figure it out, you had new information. So can we honor the difference in it as opposed to the better than? Right? Because better than is almost like a judgment of who you were, and I want you to. Yeah, I want you to have like whatever this moment in its difference. Because I watch you switched on a dime. We get to acknowledge that, right? And I don't know that it's just you so vulnerable in the vulnerable seat, sir.
I got a comment on that. So when you finish,
I think what actually happens is that though we're all like really transparent, in any given moment, that's the most tender. That's your most tender spot. Like, that's where you're the most tender when it comes to family, friends, even the upset with your family members, the house, the car, all the stuff that happened. You can go with that. It's something about this relationship with Pops that makes you go, ugh. And I only understand it because I had the same thing with both my mom and my dad. Right. So I had that, and then when they died, it was like, oh, damn, all right, it's done. I can't go back and get it. So I have to figure it out in that way. But when I heard that, I was like, dang, I never had a chance to tell him you hurt my feelings. Right. But he also told me I'm not apologizing for nothing I did because I'm a grown man.
So I know this is, a slight shift. I don't think it's a slight shift in
Wait, if we shifting, I got something that's still on this topic, but we'll go ahead. Actually, go ahead. Sorry.
No. So I was just gonna say, if you had that opportunity, I don't know. I only know what you've shared, but if you had that opportunity, my gut says that's not what you would say.
No, that's not. I wouldn't have said it like that at all. I would have probably been way more. I would have been the old version of you. I'd have cussed him out. I'd have cussed him out and told him to kill himself that slow. But I had to do some work with some teenagers by the time I got to his funeral service. And I wrote this letter from him saying all the things that I needed to hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
It healed it. But then my little boy gets healed listening to you all talk about your children. Right? Like, if you know Bill, can you imagine a Chase running up to Bill and climbing into his arms, you and the boys, and them laying on you and laughing, right? And having, credible witness seats in some of these experiences and be like, yo, look how far y'all have come as men inside of this conversation of grief. And a lot of us, I want us to stop telling people to get over it. That's what I'm begging people to stop telling people to get over what has injured, hurt, or impacted somebody. It's none of your business in real life. Right? And I think that piece is the piece, right? I think for you, it's just that there's so much more to you. Sometimes it looks like the hurt is holding you back. That's what I see, like, clearly.
Great segue. So I was just writing my notes because I didn't know how long this was going to go. So here's what I would offer, Chief. I don't know that you're on the hot seat as much as you think. I think your comments sometimes just have question marks, and therefore it leaves a lot of questions, which then gets us down like a rabbit hole, which could then feel like you're on the hot seat. But it's not like, so I'm glad Butta brought it up because I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to referencing a good question. And I think that's what it is with me. I'm just very inquisitive. So I would argue, I'm not saying this is a fact, I would argue that I'm not on the hot seat as much because I just ask more questions than you guys ask. Not better or worse questions. I just ask more. And that's the nature of being a salesperson, right? Because the person asking the questions is in charge, right? So that's why I'm always trying to get information so I can move things forward, right? So I have a question for you to ask me. Why do you think I asked you that question?
Because you may feel it's necessary for me to get that out. And you're wondering if I had.
I feel that's the only one that matters.
I feel like you missed the answer. You got to say the first thing first. Why did you ask him that question? Who is he to you?
Who are you speaking to right now?
I'm speaking to you. Who is he to you? Why did you ask Chief that question? Think about just think about without thinking, you in your head.
Yeah. I'm going to
drop down in your heart. It's only one reason why you really asked him that question. And then all the other stuff occurred. It's only one real reason.
The reason why I asked him.
Let me help you out. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm looking for. Do you love Chief?
Yeah. Which is
the end. It sounds ridiculous, the question. I keep interrupting you on purpose. It really starts there. If I love you, I don't know that I have another choice.
I see where you're going. I got
Yeah,
you.
if I
Yeah.
don't, you love them, and so then everything to that is secondary. It's like I can't. Should I let you stew in that when I can
Right.
see it?
That's the biggest part of that. It's like the
The
love,
biggest part.
and then it's like I can see it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And you know what they say, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. So sometimes I can see things in you that you can't see in yourself, and vice versa. Vice versa. And the only difference is I'm asking the tough question. I'm not saying you don't ask tough questions. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, and as it pertains to this context, it's not that I'm trying to put you on the hot seat. I just have questions. You know what I'm saying? And I know with that, the lack of I feel that not saying those words, how that could impact you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why I asked, because I mean, I just see it. That's it. That's the only reason why I asked. It was just like, I wonder if he knows how much those words could impact him, if ever said, and if they were said, how did it impact him?
They weren't said. They will be, and I won't know until it happens. Whether it's a
Yeah.
sigh of relief. What I can tell you is it will be a sigh of relief, because one thing I've geared myself up for is to not have any expectations around the response and being good with whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what I've literally been preparing myself for, because the last response I had expectations and didn't get it and was crushed. And I think I have to strip those expectations away and just be one of those ones where I'm doing this for me, getting all this out for me, and then whatever I get back is
Gravy.
will be what it was.
Right.
Mm.
I gotta say, man, like, and I've never been in a situation, so I don't know. But I think about parents who have estranged relationships with their children. And obviously everybody handles it vastly different in some cases and very similar in some cases. But what I'll say is the fact that you are doing all the stuff that you're doing lets me know you care. You know what I mean? And I feel like that should show up with him. Like he would understand that, because you're doing a lot, bro. Like I was scrolling through this drive, and that conversation with your uncle was like 2 hours long. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're
Oh, you
doing a
seen them?
lot.
Oh, you watched it,
I,
or
I
so?
didn't watch it. I was looking for something else, and I just happened to see the timestamp. So my point is, man, you definitely care, and I think that's to your point in the journey. I think you spent so much time at a period projecting that you didn't care. You made a whole poem about how much you can't stand him, but you can, right? Because if you couldn't, you wouldn't be doing all of this. And I think this speaks a lot to who you are and the grace that you're giving him, whether he realizes it or not.
So what I heard you what I heard everything you said, but what stuck out to me was, bitch, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. And what I mean by that is, like, this is all a practice. He won't see the practice. You know what I'm saying? He'll only see the end result. Me showing up prepared to have whatever conversation and receive whatever feedback. So he won't know any of the work that was put in. And I don't feel like it's something that I necessarily need to disclose to him, outside of the fact that, it'd be the simple version of it. Like,
But this is what I'm
it took me a
saying.
long time to get here.
This is all you. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all you in terms of the work. Practice, that's the work, i.e., the work. But it's coming from a place of care. You know what I mean? Like, you can say, no, I'm doing this for me. You are. You are. But that man still holds some weight in your heart. Because if he didn't, you wouldn't be doing all of this. Now, what that weight equates to, right? It can show up different every day. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a weight that you bear. So again, I only say that to say, like, that has everything to do with who you are as a man and what you're willing to do. Because, as I said, it could be potentially easier to just be like, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I made it all this way without him. You know what I'm
Yeah, I tried,
saying?
but it didn't work.
But again, that's you're saying we're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Like, this is speaking to the growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to get through that point, the anger part, right? To now acceptance. Like, hey, I'm going into this conversation and I don't have any expectations. He is who he is. He just needs to understand who I am. And I think that's the part, right? You even said it earlier in this conversation that the first long talk was him essentially getting his shit off. But now this conversation is going to be you getting your shit off in terms of who you are, why you're here, and what he says is kind of inconsequential at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, if he says, I'm sorry, great, right? If he says, I still didn't want to have you, great. You know what I mean? Like, this is for me to tell you where I am. And that's all you need to know is who I am in spite of, or however you want to say it.
Yeah, so and that's the plan. But with all, I think speaking with my uncle helps me to understand who he is. Like, just learning that, like, he legitimately is the type of believe that the kid should reach out to the parent. Like, that's legitimately how he thinks and how he grew up and how he was raised. So knowing that helped prepare me to deliver this conversation. Now I've been speaking to my sister via text. We still haven't got a chance to sit down, but we're gonna soon. And then I just get a different perspective of what he's like as a father, and it'll really help put all this shit together and be able to help me articulate my conversation in a way that allows me to understand the best way to communicate it to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I obviously
So,
am articulate enough to communicate it how I feel, but when I learn his language via the people who are closest to him, it might help.
but, which speaks to my point, right? You want to make sure that your message is heard loud and clear. So you're doing the work, putting the work in to figure out the best avenue to go down so he can receive it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have as much to do this time around to what he has to say versus what you have to say. So
And full
we're
circle,
saying the same thing.
and full circle, this is also you mentioned it earlier, just being, when you hear grief, you think loss of, death or relationship, but you can grieve people who are well and alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something that people often don't look at and consider. Like, this is just, it's a real thing. But when we do the work and genuinely are concerned about being better and healing parts of ourselves, Bella and I used to joke a while ago, we're in off the Kenya Burris joint, but it's because of slavery, like, but no, but it's because of your childhood. Like, yeah, that shit really does go back to slavery and your childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like it really, there's so much in us that has built who we are, good, bad, or indifferent, that stems from our upbringing, our childhood. And I think being able to have these conversations and sit back and assess, like, I'm a grown man, I don't need him. Why don't you need him? Well, because a little kid inside of me was begging for him, but you acting like, so just to play that and listen back at it, like, it's real. This trauma is fucking deep rooted in all of us. And it ain't just our daddy issues, y'all. It's a variety of different things. But I think being vulnerable enough, being open enough to hear the hard truths and process them just helps us grow. Because I've been ready to go up top on y'all niggas sometime, but I gotta sit back and listen and own it and process it. And it's ultimately made me more self-aware, made me able to hear the hard truths and process them and not get defensive. So it's just a testament to the work that we do.
I will also offer what you all have taught me in this moment is all the stuff I've learned from my parents. I've learned rejection, I've learned heartbreak, and I've learned grief. but it also speaks to how I've been navigating dating. My father was never really in my life, so anybody that I really was crazy in love with had to live in Timbuktu because my father taught me to love distance. And if you were up on me, this ain't gonna work. You could live around the corner, or at least in Brooklyn, it ain't gonna work, right? What my mom taught me is I can do it by myself. None of those things include a partner. None of those things include a spouse. They were so myopic that they bordered arrogance. So I got it. And no matter how you think our pops or our moms are in our lives, they're in our lives, and it's real, and you can see how that shows up for us. Like, you have a thing from your mom where you're big on bringing the family together. Like, you're that person, right? But what you may have learned from your father is something completely different. And when you think about grief and you think about breakup, those were our first breakups. They were our first like big breakups, mom or dad. I'm like, yo, this is deep. I want to call the young man back and be like, what was your dad's relationship to relationships? Seriously. Because you learned how to break up watching dad break up. Or we decide that if our moms have been hurt, we're going to love the hell out of this woman that keeps telling us that she don't want us. Because we think she needs rescue, but she really don't. And she never really asks for our help.
No,
so
man.
I think that part becomes challenging.
Now I'm mad because y'all ain't tell me my damn microphone wasn't on. I sound different now, don't I?
You sound way different.
I mean, the crazy thing is, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, he's lower than usual, but it wasn't like we can't hear you low. It was fine.
It sounded really good.
Well, it ain't the audio the podcasters be wanting, so we got to make sure we on the mics next time. Damn it, man! My people, I'm sorry.
I didn't even. From where I said, it was fine.
I don't even know how. I just looked down at the mixer and I saw that the little volume bar wasn't moving. I'm like, is my mic not on? Sure ain't.
I guess
but it is now
when it's released.
Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, we didn't get anywhere close to the topic again this week.
But we did. We talked about breakup.
I feel like we did.
I think we did.
But we didn't touch any of the questions on the treatment, but we still had a powerful conversation.
We had way better questions.
Man, we was just asking better questions, Chief. That's what I was trying to tell you, bro.
Yeah, man. So we running off. It's over an hour now. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Y'all boys got any last things you want to add to the conversation before we jump into the final thoughts? No. All right.
No, what are we titling this? So I
have no clue. We can discuss it now. Let's go ahead right now. What do you think? Right now, let's do it right now with the people.
Shake up, breakups, and makeups.
Shake-ups, breakups, and makeups.
I don't have anything better than that.
Chris rattled out, listen, Bell rattled our cage, right? He shook us up with the statement, got us real clear about it, and then allowed us to make up a healing for ourselves.
Shake up, breakups, and makeups. All right.
Yeah, I mean, because that's exactly what it is. like that's exactly what it is.
Okay. There we go. Well, Bellhead, I'm gonna let you lead the way then. Give us your before we let me cue the joint up so I can get it ready. Give us your final thought.
Put me on the screen by myself because I ain't got much to say. I don't know. I just actually I know exactly what I'll say. I just finished the book by a friend of the show, Elliot Connie, which is titled what's it? I'm gonna give you the exact title. Change your questions, change your future. And yeah, I think we could all stand to get better of having people around us that are going to ask us the tough questions. And we have to continue to challenge ourselves and ask ourselves the tough questions. Because I after reading that book, highly recommend it for any of our listeners. Change your questions, change your future. he talks a lot about, actually, I'll just let you read it, but my point is all we want is embedded in the questions we're willing to answer. All we want is embedded in the questions that we're willing to answer. And I'm gonna leave it at that. That's my final thought.
LT. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you close the show. I'm gonna go next. Damn that. I think there's a lot of different things I wrote down here. Let me just try to see what was the most. But I mentioned up like breaking up with your parents. And I think ultimately at some point in our lives, even if the breakup is when we decide to step out and move out on our own, how are we processing that? Is there a sense of grief that comes with that? For me, the main final thought I think would be catch yourself in the moment. If you can start to catch yourself in the moment of your I gotta find this thing, but trigger, we gotta use a better word, but I'm gonna say trigger. If you can catch yourself in the moment of you being triggered and are able to gather your emotions and address the trigger appropriately, is a testament to growth. It shows you are working towards moving in a different direction, because we strayed away from better, but a different direction. And I think that's the ultimate sign of growth, is being able to catch yourself in a moment of in the midst of tension, and being able to respond in ways you previously would not have. Focus on that. Next time you feel yourself ready to go, ready to blow, ready to curse, ready to do something that you normally would do, and you respond in a different manner, pat yourself on the back because you deserve it. LT.
Hey, I'll say this. I think breakups leads to breakthrough. And sometimes we get so caught up in holding on that we forget the power in letting go. And that's what I learned that tonight, that there's so much power in letting go of expectation, of people, of opinion, and really surrendering and giving that person space, or persons or experience, that space to be what it needs to be. And no matter where we are, uh, there's always somebody if we're willing to reach out. I think, and I'll just leave with this: be clear about who's reaching out and be present to reaching back, right? Don't leave your help out there waiting for you. Reach back because people are waiting for you. That's it. That's all I got.
Respect. I can dig that. Hey y'all, first and foremost, Bella, hit him with the nah I'm saying nah I mean.
So, as for those who've been listening from day one, you understand that our mission is to create a safe space for Black men to openly engage in conversations surrounding their mental health. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, and we appreciate you.
For sure. I looked at the stats today too. Our first episode is still our most viewed episode, and it was literally the very first infancy. We was just trying something out, so we're in a much better place now. So those of you who, if you went from the first episode to the most recent episode, here we are. We doing bigger and better things, y'all. We hoping that y'all continue to reach out to us. My man Isaac, I promise we're gonna get to your email soon. I want specifically to have all of us on, because I think it's going to be a very powerful conversation. So I want to make sure all the fellas are here when we do have that. Got some special guests coming up soon, so that'll be dope. Y'all, we can be found on all social media platforms at All Black Men Need Therapy. You got any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns, want to hit us up at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com. We even have a voice line, y'all, 860-410-6160, 860-410-6160. And hit us up, shoot us a text. We'll definitely get back to you. Shout out to all the people who still rocking with us, loving on us, and growing with us. We appreciate y'all. And per usual, do us all a favor and hug a black man today
Do it.
and tomorrow.
And tell the people when they hurt your feelings.
Word.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.